Welcome. So this is some chicken scraps and parts that I got out of a whole chicken, and I just put them in the oven about 400 for like 45 minutes to an hour, just until they're nice and roasty toasty, just like that, and got all the good juices and everything coming out of them. Okay, so now we've switched up. I actually canned up some veggie broth before this video, so I just wanted to go ahead and show you this little trick. Can you hear that? Hear the difference in them? They all sound the same, so you're good to go ahead and test the seal. You take the ring off, and if you can hold it up by the seal like that, then they're good and sealed. This is just two different ways. This is the main way. Like, don't get me wrong, this is the main way to test it, but that little dinging with the spoon is just a quick way to go about it. Okay, so next we're going to do one of the most important steps in canning, and it's always wash your balls. So when you get done and they've sat for their time they're going to sit, go ahead and wash them off. Make sure you get around the rim and the lip of it really good, because we don't want any mold. And then set it over to dry off a little bit. Just keep on doing that. Okay, now that they're all washed, we're going to dry them off really well. Just use a paper towel or a rag, whatever you want to use. Paper towel is right there for me, so that's what I use. And do it in super fast speed so you don't take forever. I'm kidding. And once they're all washed up, we are going to write on the lids. We're going to write what it is. So this is veggie stock and the date. See? Veggie stock, date. Now, with this one, I want to show you, see how it's already written on. I do reuse lids. They still seal. They're still fine. You just have to look at your lids and make sure that they can be reused again. If the seals are barely there, or they're chipped, or they're bent, or anything like that, it's not going to seal. Otherwise, you're fine. So, once you finish writing all your labels out, then you can put them away. Okay. Now we're coming back with an Instapot, because we are going to be making chicken stock, but we don't have all day, so we're going to make chicken stock in the Instapot, which is pretty easy. You take all those roasty toasty bits earlier, all the bones and carcasses, and I do the organs that's in there, and the esophagus, I believe it's called, the neck part. Just all the giblets. Just get all of that put down in there, and the juice. That's all flavor, okay? We want the flavor, but that all down in there. So next we are moving on to just these onion scraps. Anytime you like cut an onion and you peel off that first layer, save those. You can freeze them, use them later. I cut up onion earlier so they're still fresh. So put some of those in there. And then we are grabbing our fancy garlic braid that I grew in my garland last year. And look at it, it's so pretty. And I'll pop one off, bam. Put our garlic braid back up. And we're gonna take off a few cloves. And we're just busting them open. You don't have to worry about taking the papers off. It's fine, it's all flavor. Okay, this isn't like, we're not eating the chunks out of this. We're just getting the juice, so. Go on in with all the paper and everything. I looked about 3 or 4 cloves. There's a carrot. Break that up. I didn't peel it, nothing. There's some celery. The best part of the celery to use for this is the tops like that. And just like any pieces that are too skinny for, you know, using in soups and stuff like that. Just go ahead and pop those in. And then this is how I keep herbs in the fridge. This is my parsley. They're just in a mason jar with water in the bottom, and they last so much longer. So I'm just going to throw a few sprigs of that in there. Here's some thyme that I grew in my garden, and it's been drying. I've been working on, you know, processing it down, getting it off the sticks, but we were mid-process when we made that video here, so we're just putting a few sticks of that in there. There's a cat. This is Batches. Okay, bye. And then I reached up and grabbed some sage from my herbs that hang. I'll show you that at another time. Don't have any fresh rosemary hanging around, so we're going to use some dried rosemary. Just grocery store rosemary. I couldn't get my rosemary to grow very good last year, so maybe this year it'll be better. Just do like a little tad of that. And then we have some salt. And we are going to be canning this, so the only thing with your salt is make sure it is not iodized. Like it does not have any other ingredients in it but salt. And there's some oregano. Put that in there. I decided that I had some hanging, so I was going to grab that instead. And some whole peppercorns. Just a tad of those. She knows I'm not really measuring anything here. Just kind of go with what your ancestors in your head tell you. If you don't have the ancestors, use like, I don't know, a tablespoon of everything. The dried ingredients. This is some leftover veggie broth that didn't quite make it into the canner. It was just sitting in the fridge, so I'm throwing that in. And now I'm going to fill it up to this max line right here with just filtered water. The camera got knocked over by a cat and we had to readjust, but here we go. We're finishing. This would be the culprit that knocked the camera over. He is quite a handful. Quite a handful. He's a baby. Okay. Yeah. That's Niklaus. He likes to stay everywhere I am. So, anyways, back to what we're doing. Of course, get the cat hair off the edge. We're going to put just a little bit of vinegar, apple cider vinegar in here. It's going to help break everything down and get all the nutrients out. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and put our lid on. Make sure all the seals and everything are good. And we're going to change the back part to sealing, not venting. Okay. And we're going to turn it on and we're going to put it on pressure cook. Just manual pressure cook for 45 minutes. And we let it go. And let it do its thing. Alright, so now we're going to start chopping up our veggies for our chicken noodle soup base. I'm going to start with some carrots. We're going to go ahead and get our bowl to put our scraps in, our scrap bowl. Okay. We're just going to start peeling our carrots right into the bowl. because we're going to save those peels for another round of veggie stock or chicken stock, whatever. So anything like carrots, celery, onions, herbs, garlic, some veggies. I wouldn't really put like broccoli or Brussels sprouts. You can save all those in the freezer for your next batch of stock. So we're going to start cutting just a pretty good thickness because it's going to get really soft in the canner. And then the skinnier down we get, the bigger our chunks are going to get. Okay, then we're going to put these in a bowl off to the side. Next up is our celery. And we're just going to kind of go through. And first part is we cut off the bottom because you can stick this down in water, down in a jar, and regrow it. But for now, it's going in the compost bowl. Then we're going to go through and start cutting off all of the pieces that aren't really like, good for like snacking or biting into, or even just all the tops with the leaves, like that. They all go into the compost bowl. Of course, we're not composting, we're freezing. We will compost eventually, once we have our own area to compost in, but for now, that's just not accessible. And then we're going to take all our bits and go wash them, because there's dirt all up in celery. You just have to take it apart completely to wash it. And then we're going to select a few pieces. Now, these we're actually going to be eating, so the good, like, snacking pieces, the real thick ones, you can keep for snacking, but the decent ones here, we keep. If that made any sense, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, but just sort through your celery to as much celery as you want. I like a little less celery than I do carrots, but it is what it is. And then we're going to very slowly stack them up. You do not have to be so particular, and just start chopping them up. And just keep chopping, adding those to the bowl. There's our carrots again, yay. Now we're gonna do our onion, and it's gonna make us cry because it was strong. But cut both ends off, and these are really good. Just save whole like that. They're really good for the stocks and soup bases. You don't have to throw them away at all. Cut it in half. And then that's what I'm talking about, that first outer peel. You keep that. And mine are starting to kind of grow in the middle, so just take those out so it's not quite bitter. You can leave them in, it's your preference. They just taste a little bitter to me, so I take them out. And do the same thing, chop your onions how you like them chopped. We like ours a little smaller. My husband isn't the biggest fan of the texture. So, excuse me, I had to cough. Finish that, and then boom, there's your onions. So at this point, you have the holy trinity of carrots, onion, celery. We're going to go ahead and prep our garlic by just pressing down on it with a knife like you've seen. Oh no, where's my trash can? There it is. That you can actually throw away. And I take the little, like, hard ends off. And I have to go through and split every single one of these garlics because these are from my garden. And they have gone past their storage life and they're starting to grow in the middle as well. So I'm taking the greens out and trashing those. Eat. Nasty. And just keeping on. Getting the cloves prepared. And then I'm going to start dicing my garlic. You can leave it whole if you want. If you want to bite into a whole piece, you know, that's up to you. Or you can slice it. Or you can dice it. Or you can mince it. Whichever you want to do. I just roughly dice mine until I get tired of it. And then I scrape it up off my cutting board with the back side of my knife, not the sharp side. Because if you use the sharp side, that's how you get your knife dull. So you want to prolong your life of your knife by using just the back side. Okay, here's all our ingredients. Now all we have left to do is prep the chicken. Yay! So I have 5 bowls set out here and 5 chicken breasts. I just want to make sure each jar has a good portion of chicken in it, you know, a good 4 ounces or so. So go through, cut out all the nasty, weird bits, and then start dicing your chicken. Do these in bigger cubes. Don't do them really small. Like 1/2-inch cubes is good. Just, the smaller they are, the tougher they'll get, or they'll just disintegrate. So just do like a 1/2-inch to 1-inch size cube. See, like right there? That looks good. So we're just going to continue doing that and placing them into our little glass jars. Go ahead and pre-measuring them like this just makes it easier and faster later when we go to can it up. So there's a lot of nasty bits in that one. Bam, there's 1. Okay, now we're going to do 5. We let it run its 30-minute course, and then we just let it natural release on its own for at least 30 minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and open it. And look at that beautiful chicken broth. Now we're going to let this chill and steam come out while we get the canner prepped. This is the this is the Presto Precise digital pressure canner. So this works the same as the Instapot. Just plug in. You have your pot, just like an Instapot. Put that in. Plug it in. And it's going to light up pressure can. We're going to push this. Then we're going to change our time to 75 minutes since we have raw chicken. Insert jars. Before we can insert jars, we need to make sure that this goes in feet down. And we fill it with water up to that line. Always make sure you have water in your pressure canner. It's about 3 quarts. Three full quarts. Okay. So now, insert jars. You want to make sure that your jars are half full with water. This can hold 8 pint jars. 7 wide mouth pints. You did that, you inserted your jars. Make sure your gasket cover here is on. Put your lid on. We'll install remove, spin it till the lock gets there. Then you push this down and spin it in place. You did not put the regulator on. Now you hit play. And it says warm. And it'll warm for a while, maybe 20 minutes, and then it'll beep, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so it says fill jars now. I don't know if you can see. Here, let's zoom in. See, fill jars. So now we are going to move stations. Okay, so now we're going to actually strain and dump our broth. So we have our pan, large bowl, pot, whatever. Put your strainer on. Get your mittens. Make a huge mess. Squeeze out in good bits. Okay. Off to the side. And that is our broth. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna bring the jars here, fill it, wipe it, place it in the canner. So first, we are going to twist this, move that, put our, do it like that, lift it up carefully, steam. For your jars, you're going to remove your jars, hot. You're going to dump out the water. And then come to your canning spot. So to fill these jars, a little hot, we're going to start with our chicken. So we don't have to touch it. 1 second. Okay, now we're back. Put chicken in jar. Put the lid on. Then put the chicken in the jar. Okay, check. Then, start with our carrots. Yeah, put a little handful. But we like carrots, right? Celery. Okay. onion. Okay. For our garlic, we're just gonna do like a little smidge of garlic. Bay leaves. Half a bay leaf. Good. Now we're gonna put liquid in it. Now we have our liquid up to about 1 inch headspace. We're going to debubble. So we're going to go around the rims. Make sure that it has that. And you might have to add more liquid after you do that. No, it's fine. So then we go to the rings and lids. And look at this. Look at how pretty that is. Little, hang on. Fingertip tight. Back in the canner. Okay, I'm gonna do that like 4 more times and we'll be back. Okay, now so we got our jars in here. I made 5. We're gonna put our lid back on. So again, you put your lid on, tighten it to lock, close your handle. If you're wondering, I'm following these directions right here. And then you get your filled jars and you push play. I'm saying it's heating. It's gonna heat up for a while and it'll beep. I'm saying it's canning. We have another step to do for that though. So hold on. So now it is beeping, and as you can see, it says put regulator on. So we take our regulator, put it on top. Now that we've done that, we hit play. And it'll start coming up to heat and can. It has beeped 2 more times, and now it's gone from can to canning. So I fell asleep, took a nap. It's much later, but now see it says done, so we can turn this for 3 seconds. Hot out, and so we're gonna go ahead and unplug it. Bam. Now take our regulator off. Into the sideways. It's up. And twist. And slowly lift. I don't want it in. Now I'm going to lift our jars out. See, still one. Looks beautiful. See how these are boiling? See how this one is not? I have a feeling this one did not. Okay. We'll see. So, as you can see, still have a lot of stock left, so I'm going to can that up. So our stock is kind of lukewarm, so we're going to warm our jars up. And we have already dumped out the big pot from the canner with the hot water. We're going to put some cooler water in there. That's the same temperature as our stock and our jars. Filling up our water device skitterator. I just want it to be lukewarm. I'm going to fill up our canner to the line. However, since everything is cooled down, I am not going to pre-warm them. So now we're over here, we're going to fill up these jars with our leftover broth. Fill them up to 1 inch headspace. I forgot to put turmeric in the broth, which sucks. You can mention that at some point. Check the headspace. Go. We're gonna need maybe 2 more jars. 2 more jars. Okay, so surprise, we're gonna fit 6. So, another one on here. No, I'm not gonna use a ladle. There we go. Check our headspace. Could use a little more. Okay. One thing I did forget to do last time is the white vinegar. The white vinegar should have been on those paints, but they're not. But they're going on these. So, let's see if this is a little this meal. They're not hot, so I do not care. Okay, so. Get our lid, our white vinegar. Put our vinegar on our towel and we wipe the lids down really well, especially since I've got stock on it, so that's gonna be fatty. Okay, let's do that. Hit them up. Okay. Don't turn your wrist. Alright, put these in the pressure canner. So these are not hot, so I can use my hands. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I know I'm mumbling and I'm speaking in cursive and making random noises. I think I'm delusional. But thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe you'll like to come back and watch the next one. 5 mils in the pressure canner. So we're going to plug it up. Pressure can. We're gonna go 30 minutes. Okay. We're gonna put our lid on. Oh, alright. Don't forget this. Put our gasket on. Make sure she's secure. But she's not there. And then we're gonna put our lid on. Pop it. Twist it. And we're gonna push play. It says insert jars. We've already done that. Push play. Now it's warming though. That's cool. We'll let it do its thing. Okay, it beeped twice at me, and now it says fill jars. So usually you would take the jars out, fill them, but everything's the same temperature. So we're just gonna skip all that and push play. And now it is heating up and it's gonna start canning soon. When it gets done heating up, we will put the regulator on. Okay, so now it's beeping at me again. And it says put regulator on. It's ready to can. Put the regulator on. Push play. It's going to can for 30 minutes. It's coming up to temperature, coming up to pressure, and it'll beep again when it's at pressure. And it'll go for 30 minutes, and we're basically done over here. It beeped at me again, which means that it is ready to actually can. It got to the proper temperature and pressure, and now we are canning for 30 minutes. It beeped at me again, so it's now in the cooling phase. When this gets done, it'll say done, and then we can take the lid off. And then we're done. Okay, so our canner is finally done. So we hold the X for 3 seconds, and it turns off. Now we can unplug it. We can take our regulator off, put it up for safekeeping. We can twist our knob, open the latch, and remove the top. I already heard 3 seal. Taking jars out of the canner. Beautiful. I'll add that to this. Look how beautiful. Bubbling is a good sign. Total, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chicken soups and 6 stocks. Alright, it is the next day, and we are going to check our ribs. We have chicken broth and our chicken noodle soup base. Okay. We're going to do the spoon test. Sounds like they all sealed. Check our seals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 11. So these all sealed without vinegar on these. So I'm going to wash these, label them, and put them away. Bye.